everybody, welcome to the first in what will be a many-parted series, and that is a look at my eyeshadow palette collection. So to qualify as a palette, I've decided it has to be more than 4 shadows, and we are going to start out with the Lorac collection. It's not a huge extensive collection, but I wanted to share with you each palette that I have, what I think of them, and then maybe 2-3 of my most worn shades. So Mimi's hanging out right over here. That's what you're wondering, what's going on back there. There's Mimi. Let's get started before the light goes, because I think a rainstorm's coming in. I'm going to start with the very first one that I got from Lorac. It's Carol spelled backwards. How about that? And that is the original Lorac Pro palette. So what I love about all of the Lorac, I'm just going to say Lorac. That's it. I'm going to be consistent. What I like about the Lorac packaging is how thin it is. It's very portable and easy to pack because of the lack of bulk. However, every single one of my palettes is filthy dirty from fingerprints. So that is a negative. It's not the worst thing in the world. It is a very well-loved palette. I'm sure you've seen all of these many times on YouTube. We're just going to go through this pretty quickly. On this side you have all of the matte shades, on this side you have all of the shimmer shades, and you have a lovely mirror down here it's actually kind of a horrible mirror. It's cardboard, so it's not the best. It does the job, let's just put it that way. So out of my most worn matte shades, I would say that it would be the light pink right there. And I'm a huge fan of, I'd say, from here down, as you can see. And my most worn shades, I'm going to put them on my finger too, are nude, champagne, and light bronze. And there is quite the divot in light bronze, which looks like that. It's just a very lovely, all over the lid, sheeny metallic kind of color. So I love that. And I had a huge love affair with this. I haven't fallen out of love with it. I've just fallen in love with other palettes. I really don't reach for it as much as I should. My biggest issue is that of all the matte shades, this lightest brown, the taupe, is still, I feel, too dark for a transition shade in the crease. I wish they had just maybe one tone down from that. So that's my real complaint, is there's no true, for me, mid-tone brown. But it's a great palette. I do not have the new palette. The new Lorac Pro 2 is more of a cool tone. I'm not a cool tone person, so there you go. Then I can't remember which came next for sure. I think it was the first Lorac Unzipped Palette. This is what I have on today. These are all shades in different tones of, I'd say, a rose gold or rosy color. I use a lot of them. They're all unsomething. This is Undercover, and it is a great brow bone or inner corner highlight if you want a more subtle inner corner highlight. But my favorite is, I generally go to Unconditional as my transition color. It looks very rosy pink. That's what I have on today. It really comes across more of a brownie shade. And then my favorite lid color would probably be Unreal. Very similar to the bronze shade that I love. And then my favorite outer corner color would probably be Uncensored, which is actually what I'm wearing today. It's over there. So those are my favorite. Now, I used to never touch these 2 deep shades down here, but I found that with a very light hand, this is great to deepen that outer corner. This is Unbridled, and that's what I have going on today. And then I actually used Untamed, this very dark brown, to line my lids. But I love this palette, and I will tell you which one is my favorite when we are done, but okay. What I really like is that these 2 matte shades here are very much in the mid-tone category, and for my fair skin work great as a crease color. So I really appreciate that. Then this was probably the biggest disappointment from Lorac, only in that it was available for basically a day and then nobody could get their hands on it. This is the Lorac Mega Pro palette. It was available, I think, last holiday season, or maybe even 2 holiday seasons ago. I can't remember now. And I managed to get my hands on it, but I never use it in tutorials because I feel like it's mean to show it and you can't get it. I do know they're coming out with a Lorac Pro Mega Palette number 2, so we'll see if they do better on supply. This is what you get. It's, again, very similar packaging to the Lorac Pro. In fact, at least 4 shades: white, cream, espresso, and black. These 4 here on each side, are from the original palette. And then as you can see, there's a color, if you're into the warmer tones, there is a color on the neutral side, and then they have some really great jewel tone, beautiful shades that I probably would never wear. But I wish I could because they're gorgeous. I would say my most reached for are these 4 right here, this bottom row. And that's Vanilla Cashmere, Smoky Topaz, and this Dusty Rose is a good transition color. I think you can probably see there's a theme with this. I really do love me some neutrals. Yeah, I don't really reach for more. I need to experiment, but I keep going for those 4. Apricot's another nice one. Apricot is pretty much what it sounds like. It's just a light apricot shade. So that is that. And then the last palette that I picked up from Lorac is the gold palette. And, you know, similar size and packaging to the original Unzipped palette. This one is a shiny surface. The other one was matte. Whoops, sorry. No, this one is matte. The other one was shiny. And I can tell you they're beautiful in the pan. They don't work so well on my skin tone. I think if you're a deeper skin tone, this is a beautiful palette. And the actual shades themselves, these metallic shades, are almost, they look almost wet. They're so metallic. The Unleashed one here, I'm barely touching it. I mean, it looks wet. It's gorgeous. But again, my complaint is that these 2 matte shades are not particularly well suited for a fair skin as a crease color, and everything else is pretty shiny. So I feel like this palette is not great as a standalone palette. So as far as Lorac palettes go, I think they're great value for money. I think the quality of the shadows is on par with any other shadow I've used, definitely at the high end of quality and pigmentation. There is fallout because they're so deeply pigmented, so be sure on all of these to tap your brush before you put it on your lid or you will get fallout. If I had to pick a favorite, well, obviously this one is the most versatile. I mean, it has a shade for everyone, but I don't think it's fair to include this. We'll just take that out of the picture. So I would say, honestly, the one I reach for the most is the original Unzipped, solely because it has these great mid-tone shades that are matte that I can use. So for me, and it has a brow bone highlight that is not particularly shimmery. So I can use this as a brow bone. It's actually a little more versatile for me, I know this is crazy, than this palette. Although this is definitely a close runner-up. They're both great. I'd love to know what Lorac palettes you have that I don't have, that you think I should have. They make beautiful, the quality of their stuff is just great. So I highly recommend it. I know you can get it at Ulta, maybe Nordstrom. I'm pretty sure I've seen it at Nordstrom and at Kohl's. I can't remember where else I've seen it. I will list all that below. I look forward to hearing back from you. Let me know what you think of the Lorac palettes and which palettes you want to hear about next, leaning towards the Urban Decay collection. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. All right, this is like my 4th time at the school, or 5th time in 2 days. And we just, well, I wasn't really necessary, but my checkbook was to buy the homecoming tickets.